Hello, and welcome to the show. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. You guys are just fucking rocking it. In yesterday's news, I was reading that Donald Trump authorized a airstrike by the U.S. Embassy in Iran because one of the Iranian generals was pretty much telling the militants, or his militants, to fuck with U.S. soldiers and fuck with U.S. people working over there and fuck with U.S. interests. Over the past years, I think it was ever since 2007, Iran, that one particular general killed over 603 U.S. personnel. 603. And the crazy part is, it was like assassinations, pretty much, over in that area. And he probably also played a part in the 2001 attacks too. I would not have one doubt about that, because the way that country is and how much terrorists there are in that country, and Donald Trump should just label that fucking country terrorist country and just completely just block it off from the rest of the world until it understands not to attack people or kill people for no reason, or just because you hate a group of fucking people. That's bullshit. And if they can't learn to put down their differences and just accept that everyone in the world is different and they don't have to follow the Sunni, Shiite, and whatever ways they got going on over there, they should accept that. And they also should accept better laws as well. Anyways, back to the topic. And Donald Trump did not ask Congress to attack Iran or send airstrikes. But if if he did that, leaked news of the mission would have been out. Someone from Congress would have said something. Maybe not someone from Congress, but somehow it would have leaked out that general who've killed numerous people and got away with it would have found out, and then he wouldn't be at that location anymore. Just like what happened before. There was another mission Donald Trump did. I forgot on the top of my head what he did, but he sent another airstrike a few months ago to target another terrorist, and didn't tell Congress. And again, when you tell people of your mission beforehand, the perpetrators will always get away. Somehow they will find out, whether it is over the news, whether it is their spies, or whatever. So I respect Donald Trump for doing what he did, because I cared about our U.S. military. I care about our soldiers overseas. I care about all that. And it pisses me off that terrorists, like that general in Iran, was able to get away with it for so long. For almost 13 years. And causing disarray in that region. Causing problems in Iraq. And causing just bullshit in that area. Now people are going to get that message like, hey, don't fuck with the U.S. When everybody beforehand was fucking with the U.S. and fucking with Americans because there was no thing put in place when every president would say something over the news or Facebook or Twitter or whatever, saying don't fuck with Americans, don't fuck with our personnel overseas and shit like that. Every time I would see that, I'd see like a few weeks later our president giving away money to those terrorists back before Trump was in office. Obama actually gave several $billions to Iran, and what do you know? Just yesterday, or not yesterday, the day before, they were causing problems for the U.S. Embassy, and a few months before this, I don't even think it was a few months, he was actually over in Moscow trying to buy weapons of mass destruction from Putin. And Russia was allowing this person who wasn't even allowed to leave the state into Russia. So, anyways, when I see shit like this, it pisses me off because when people sit there and tell me to vote for Democrats or vote for Republicans or just vote for someone in general, I research, I watch what they do. I don't say anything though. I'm just like whatever, okay. But when you research something and you see how they do their politics, either they lie, they change their story, or they don't follow through what they said. Like Obama, he said he'd try to raise the federal minimum wage $10 an hour. That did not happen. He tried to get Medicare or better medical for everybody. That didn't happen. And for those of you that that say, "Oh, we got the best Medicare or best medical in the world," no, that's bullshit. Like, I had to. Obviously, I have epilepsy. Well, I said this in previous episodes. I have epilepsy. So sometimes I would have to end up in the hospital. I'd end up in the hospital, and my insurance didn't cover all of the procedures that needed to be done. And coming out of the hospital, because I either need my medications, I either need to get my shoulder put back in place because I fell on it, break my teeth because I fall on my face sometimes. Literally, I've broke like many of my teeth, and I'm telling you, that shit ain't free. That shit is expensive, and so having better medical insurance and when you see a politician trying to say that, oh, we have enough money to guarantee Medicare, to guarantee $1,000 a month for everybody, you got to think what they're going to take away from you. Are they going to take away a certain thing from you? Perhaps the better sick leave and the better child tax credit that you get this year. Perhaps they'll take that away. Perhaps the unemployment will or not rise, but go down. Or, well, wait. No, it would rise because there's no jobs out there that can afford to hire you. So they'll have you in the system, but they won't give you hours and shit. That could happen too. I'm sorry for switching up the topics so much. I'm just explaining to you, or explaining to whoever's listening at the moment, or whoever's going to be downloading this in the future, that when you go to vote on something, and this goes for anything, when you vote on unions, when you vote on politics, when you vote on new laws, read it. Read the fine prints. Yes, we can guarantee this, we can guarantee that, we can do this, but we're going to take away this. And the things that they take away is the most things that you're dependent on. So, think about it. And also, when you go to vote for a politician, this is what really pisses me off. Look at how many homeless people you have in your state. Look at how many people living in tents in your city parks, for fuck's sake. And me just giving you an example how much it costs for medical, that's just an example. So when you live in a democratic controlled state, you'll soon realize that your guns will be taken away as well. You will have higher taxes. You will see your parks that maybe you would go for a jog every morning, or go for a run, or bring your kids there, or do whatever. You'll start seeing tents. Maybe just one at first, but then it'll start to grow to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it'll just have the whole community of just tents. Like our governor at the moment here in Washington, blaming tobacco companies for all these problems that we have, or the only thing that he is good for is just suing companies. So when you want to have all these programs, such as helping the homeless, such as, better medical, such as raising the minimum wage, you got to find the money somewhere. So if your GDP, you don't know what GDP is, your gross domestic product is, it's crappy. Well, you look for companies that are doing well, and then you just sue the fuck out of them and take their money and use that money to build your programs. And that's what I feel like is going on. But doing all that, it neglects the people that are trying to be helped. Like also in Seattle, wanted to have wanted to have drug spots where you can just go up to the bus or go up to the area, there would be nurses there. Don't not saying anything, but those nurses were paid, or the nurses get paid. So a person can walk up to one of those buses or those little drug areas, shoot up whatever drugs they got, get high, and the nurses will be on hand to make sure they just don't overdose, instead of actually just trying to help people out of those problems. When I see Nancy, the House lead, the House Speaker, she talks about all these problems, blames Trump literally for everything. But then you go look at her state that she's part of, and which is California, I believe. You look at that, and it's just a fucking trash. I mean, homeless everywhere. Homeless pretty much have been everywhere, and it's just growing. And it's just growing. And when she sits there and blames Trump for this, that, this, oh, I'm going to throw an impeachment on you too. Which is probably why a lot of people rounded around Trump, because California is just a mess. And she, for the last, 3 years, has not done anything for that state. And for the last 4 years, or since 2016, or since Donald Trump took office in 2000, or won the elections in 2016, and took office, it's just been nothing but signing orders, and actually getting things done, rather just sitting on your ass saying, oh, I'm blaming this person, blaming that person, oh, I'm gonna blame that person. You start to realize the Democratic Party is nothing but blamers. We already know the tobacco company causes cancer. We already know they shouldn't market this shit. We already know that people shouldn't be smoking. Donald Trump even made an executive order for no one under the age of 21 can smoke. That's a big step. Obama could have done it. House of Representatives could have passed it through, could have passed it numerous times through the House, but it never got through the Senate, even though they control the House, obviously, because they got every single Democrat except the few that went Republican at the last minute to turn against Trump. And now, the weird thing is, they don't want to impeach Trump now. It's because they have so many problems in their own states. They've neglected all of them. They hired, people put them in power, expecting them to go sue Trump. If Trump is, the next president, we're gonna move to another country. Well, maybe those people should have done that, because the politicians that we have currently are pretty ignorant and arrogant. They don't want to see what them not doing anything in that position of power has done. They just want to blame the president. They don't want to ask the president for help, which they could have. But they never did. Or they never do. They just have blaming sessions. Anyways, this has been a good show. I feel like it has. As I said, I respect Donald Trump for him doing what he did the other night. Even if he asked Congress to shoot off those rockets to protect the U.S. Embassy, Congress probably wouldn't have even got it in time, and it would have been leaked. So, again, I respect him because he understands he understands not telling people about secret missions, because obviously there's secret missions and they need to stay secret, and if he would have told Congress, it would have got out. That's all I'm saying. Thank you for listening. I'll probably do another show tonight. I'm sorry that I rambled on about this, but again, I respect the U.S. troops. I respect our U.S. personnel 100% that are fighting overseas, going through whatever it is they're going through, because they're not even here. They're overseas against people that hate them, protecting our interests. And that's all I gotta say.